Hi, and welcome to CEI in the News. Today is March 29th, 2010, and I'm your host, Greg Conco.
And I'm Nicole Chandela with a brief summary of some of CEI's recent appearances in the media.
Obviously, the big news from last week is healthcare. My colleague Hans Botter had an op-ed in the Washington Examiner, and John Berlau was on CNBC's Kudlow Report discussing many of the hidden costs of the healthcare bill. But despite the objections of Hans, John, and about 150 million of their closest friends, the House passed the bill last Sunday and President Obama signed it into law.
Greg was busy too, appearing on several television and radio news programs to discuss the fallout from the healthcare bill and what kinds of changes we can now expect. Among the highlights are appearances on the UK's B-Sky B News program Live at 5, Atlantic TV, and Bloomberg News Channel. Here's a clip from the Bloomberg interview.
I think in the near term, it could result in patients, particularly in end-of-life situations, perhaps not getting everything, all the best care that they might be have access to now. And down the road, if government starts paying less for a lot of innovative medical treatments, we're going to see a lot fewer of them.
The guy seems a little dry, doesn't he? Shouldn't quit his day job.
Now that the bill's been signed into law, the mainstream media is finally starting to pay attention to what's actually in the bill. A New York Times article on March 24th notes that one provision will require restaurant chains to print nutritional information on in-store and drive-thru menus. Our Sam Kasman was quoted in the article arguing that if a customer wants to eat his Big Mac without knowing exactly how many calories are in it, he should have that right. At the end of the article, Sam quips that health nannies will, quote, push for more. I don't think this is a very appetizing course, end quote. Very well put, Sam. For anyone keeping track, that is Sam Kasman 1, Anti-Calorie Lobby 0.
With the Democrats' health care push nearing an end, Congress is now shifting to other topics. On March 17th, the House Committee on Science and Technology held a hearing on the role of government in developing new technologies. CEI's Wayne Cruz testified at the hearing and strongly advised against government-subsidized manufacturing. The last thing any of us wants is a government agency investing taxpayer money in the modern equivalent of the 8-track tape. Except Wayne, maybe. He's still got a big collection of the Allman Brothers on 8-track.
Alex Nowrasteh had an op-ed this week in Investor's Business Daily on immigration policy, and he was on Fox & Friends last week debating FAIR President Dan Stein on the proposed biometric national ID program. Here's a clip.
Yeah. Well, quite frankly, I wouldn't believe Mr. Stein. He's the head of a radical left-wing environmentalist organization founded by population control advocates. But that's besides the point. The point is that this system will not work and is a fundamental invasion of our rights. That's why every single time that this system is proposed, it is shot down by legislation. When Ronald Reagan was first confronted by this, he said sarcastically, why don't we just brand all the babies at birth?
I think they teach Dan Stein's tongue technique at the Harvard Debate Club. It's a very sophisticated maneuver.
Lee Doran was up in New Hampshire last weekend for the Free State Project's Liberty Forum. Our correspondent Will Yateman is with Lee now. Will?
YouTube star and bureaucrat crasher-in-chief Lee Michael Durham last weekend participated in the Free State Project's Liberty Forum in Nashua, New Hampshire. Lee, tell me about the Liberty Forum.
It was fantastic. There were hundreds of liberty activists at the forum, and we got to see some really great speakers as well.
Fascinating. As I understand it, you were a participant on Free Talk Live?
Yeah, it was great. We got to talk about liberty, and I even got to debate some people, so it was a really great experience, and a lot of people got to hear it.
That's great. Back to you, Greg.
Thanks, Will.
In other news, Ryan Young had an op-ed in the American Spectator last week on the jobs bill, and he also had a post in the Daily Caller on why, contrary to common belief, March Madness is not actually going to crash the economy.
John Berlau had a big government op-ed on Chris Dodd's financial reform bill. Angela Logomassini had a piece in South Florida's Sun Sentinel debunking the scare over plastic baby bottles. Chris Horner was on the Laura Ingraham Show on March 16th, and Ryan Roddy was on the G. Gordon Liddy Show March 24th to talk about the FCC's new national broadband plan.
That's about it for this week. Thanks for watching.
Please subscribe to our channel, and remember, all the links to the stories we've mentioned can be found in the description box to the right of the screen.
This week's CEI in the News was brought to you by Red Hot Lies and The Frankenfood Myth, both available on Amazon.com.